The Talk No Jutsu is one of the staples of the Naruto series. Many times, Naruto's words can be more effective than his fists. Many people don't like Talk No Jutsu very much, saying that converting your enemies to the good side is cheap and not the best way to win a fight. Doesn't make the series exciting, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Talk No Jutsu is important. It's literally the theme of the Naruto series. Naruto tries to find humanity in those who lost themselves, and in those who Naruto can see himself in. Many of the opponents Naruto uses Talk No Jutsu against are essentially mirror characters. People that Naruto could have ended up like if his life had been a little bit different, if he hadn't found friends or love. So seeing Naruto believing in their humanity and trying to bring it to the forefront is one of the core aspects of the Naruto series, and it would have been a very different story if this element wasn't present. Having said that, because there have been many instances of Talk No Jutsu, obviously some are gonna be better than others. So let's rank every Talk No Jutsu, and this is gonna be a very subjective list, but I hope to provide a little bit of insight as to why I like some Talk No Jutsus better than others. Starting off with number 9, Sai's Talk No Jutsu. Now, if you remember correctly, when Sai joined Team Kakashi during the Tenchi Bridge arc, his actual mission that was given to him by Danzo was to assassinate Sasuke Uchiha, because Danzo deemed Sasuke a danger to the Leaf Village, so Sai was there to kill him, and that was it. He didn't care at all about his teammates. When the Nine Tails went ballistic and Sakura fell off the bridge, Sai passed right next to her flying on his bird and chose not to save her because there was Anbu protocol, and you see, yeah, this guy didn't care much about his teammates, to say the least. Yamato had to come and save Sakura, and you see throughout the entire arc that Sai, well, he literally has no emotions, and he betrayed Team Kakashi, even joining Orochimaru so that it would facilitate him killing Sasuke. But during the arc, Naruto rubbed a little bit on Sai, and he started to acquire a little bit of emotion, seeing the bond Naruto had with Sasuke and the lengths that Naruto and Sakura would go to save him. When Naruto said that he would do everything to bring Sasuke back, even if he had to break his legs, arms, that moved Sai. And yes, he didn't really understand what Naruto was saying, but regardless, it moved him. At that, Talk No Jutsu Sai into helping them out bringing Sasuke back instead of just going in and kill the guy. Of course, it didn't work out because Sasuke was much more powerful than they were, but Sai's demeanor changed. But why am I ranking this very last? As far as impact goes, this Talk No Jutsu wasn't exactly a home runner. Yeah, the scene is nice and all, but it lacks a little bit of oomph. There's not a lot of things leading up to Sai changing his mind. He just saw Naruto and Sakura, which was cool and all, but it's not as though there was a climactic event that made Sai change his mind. It was a little bit understated, but it doesn't mean it was terrible. Also, Sai as a character is now really my favorite type of guy. I'm not a fan of the emotionless character trope, and yes, this is a cool idea in concept to kill the emotions of a shinobi, and having Naruto find this guy's emotions along the way because he is that type of person that will try to help you bringing back your humanity. But the problem with that is that Sai was barely ever used again. He pretty much disappears from the series, appearing here and there, but very sporadically. And yes, there is a conclusion to his arc in the War arc when his deceased brother sees the final drawing in Sai's book, which is nice and all, but the character overall doesn't really have a lot of impact, and that's the reason why he's last. Number 8's gonna be Neji, the man who thought destiny was everything, but Naruto proved him wrong. Neji thought that Naruto would never be anything and that Neji could never lose to Naruto because Naruto's a loser. He's never gonna win anything, he's always gonna be that guy forever because Neji believed in his curse of the Hyuga clan that you can never escape your destiny, and Neji, in his mind, would always be a caged bird. But when Naruto defeats him in the Chunin exams, he proves Neji wrong. Now, the fight between Naruto and Neji is nice to look at, it's a cool fight, but the problem is that Neji, he's kinda right in the angle he approaches the situation here. He tells Naruto that he can never become the Hokage because the men who become Hokage are very few and far between, talented shinobi that are only born once every generation. But unbeknownst to Neji, Naruto carries the most powerful tail beast in the world, is the son of the 4th Hokage, and is the literal reincarnation of a demigod. Also, Neji died protecting the main family of the Hyuga clan. And yes, that was his choice, he died free, but still, it seems like his destiny was to protect the main family because that's the reason why the cursed ceiling was put in him in the first place, so that the Byakugan would never leak. If somebody killed Neji and tried to get the eye, that's the reason why the branch family was dealt with that way. way to protect the main family, and yes, Neji chose to protect them in his own volition in the end there when he saved Hinata that was trying to save Naruto, but he still died protecting them. And yes, Naruto had to overcome a lot of hardship during his life to become the Hokage. A lot of people say that Naruto wasn't the underdog because he had so many things going for him, but that's not the case. Naruto was the underdog. He just wasn't talentless. He was cursed by the Nine Tails and the situation he was dealt in life, but he still had things to do. He wasn't like Rock Lee who could do squat other than taijutsu, but Neji's ideals should have been a little bit different for it to fit in the story. It could be something about destiny, but it shouldn't be because Naruto was a low-born child that had no talent. It should be because Naruto was cursed with the Nine Tails or something like that. That's why Neji's Talk No Jutsu feels a little weak, but it's nice to see Neji growing into a better person after the fight. And then when he fights against Kidomaru and defeats Kidomaru, he's like, yeah, the strongest guy I've ever fought. He was the man who changed me, and that was Naruto. That was a nice moment for Neji. Still, there are a couple of things that are contradictory in the fight, but I still find it more enjoyable to watch than Sai's Talk No Jutsu. Number 7 is gonna be Obito's Talk No Jutsu, and I am not the biggest fan of Obito. If you've been watching my videos for a decent amount of time, you'll probably know that, but I don't hate Obito. I think he's okay. His development in the war arc is well done, his backstory with Kakashi is interesting, and also with Madara, but the thing is that I was just done with Obito by the time that Jubito was defeated by Naruto and Sasuke there. I wanted the story to move along. Let's get Obito over with. I didn't care too much for his redeeming things that he did after he was Talk No Jutsued, joining forces with Kakashi. That was nice to see, but I was just like, I think we've got enough Obito for my taste. And I say that, but I still like Obito's death. It's very impactful, and even though Rin coming from limbo and pushing Kakashi and Obito through Kaguya's gravity dimension, even though Naruto and Sasuke weren't able to move and Kaguya herself wasn't able to move, was kind of weird. It's still a very interesting panel and a cool way for Obito to die. It is impactful. And when Kakashi awakens the dual Mangekyo Sharingan, that's also a very emotional scene. Still, I was fed up with Obito by that point in the story. I didn't care much for him ever since he lost his mask. And also, there's one of the cringiest lines because of Obito's redemption in the entire Naruto series, which is when Naruto says, "Oh, Obito was the coolest guy," after Obito dies. Now, yes, I understand Naruto wants to cling to the humanity of every single enemy, or most of them at least, trying to bring them back to light. But Obito was the man who killed Minato and Kushina and a lot more people that Naruto cared about, and directly or indirectly caused everything bad in the Naruto series, or almost everything. I mean, I guess Orochimaru's stuff didn't have a lot to do with Obito, but other than Orochimaru, pretty much everything that happened is his fault. And he did all that because he wanted to see his 13-year-old friend again, a friend he had a crush on. So yeah, man, I don't know. Not a fan of Obito, don't care too much about his Talk No Jutsu. There was also too much focus on him and Kakashi's backstory, which was alright, but I would have preferred to see somebody else's backstory, Madara. And also, I'm kinda, you know, just soiled with everything that happens in the end of the war arc, which includes Obito's redeeming actions because of Kaguya and the entire Zetsu plot twist thing. So I'm probably not gonna be a fan of anything that happens in that point of the story anyway. But there's some merit to Obito's Talk No Jutsu, so he gets 7th place. And now we're gonna get to the good stuff. From this point on, every single Talk No Jutsu that happens in the Naruto series I very much like. It's just a matter of which one I like the most. Number 6 is gonna be Nagato. The relationship between Naruto and Nagato, having Jiraiya as a mentor that they share, is very interesting. Also, Nagato trying to erase the pain and suffering in the world by first causing pain and then trying to stop the cycle was an interesting and very twisted philosophy that was born because of the corrupted shinobi system in the world. And Naruto, when Pain was questioning him during their fight after Pain had beaten Seijimo Naruto didn't have any answers. He was like, I don't know what to do, man. You kinda cornered me here. Of course, when Naruto and Nagato meet again after Naruto defeats Pain, he brings Jiraiya's book, The Tales of a Gutsy Ninja, and shows it to Nagato. Jiraiya was writing that book imagining that the protagonist was what Nagato should eventually become. The Jiraiya entrusted everything to his pupils, including Nagato back in the day, and Naruto delivered a very passionate speech as to how he should try not to destroy everybody's lives. This prompted Nagato to believe in him and that Naruto should be entrusted with breaking the cycle of hatred and pain in the shinobi world, and Nagato used the Rina Tensei to revive everybody he had killed in the invasion of the Leaf Village, dying in the process. Now, the thing is, sure, Naruto has a nice speech, and he appeals to Nagato's humanity, but Naruto's arguments are not the most solid here. There's a lot of conjecture. We should do this, we shouldn't do that, and Nagato just kinda believes him very quick. Now, of course, Naruto had just beaten Pain, something that was thought to be impossible, so Nagato had reason to believe this boy was powerful and maybe he could back his claims. But in terms of Naruto's arguments here, this is not the best Talk No Jutsu. It still is very much in line with the themes of the Pain arc. Instead of ending the cycle of hatred through pain, Naruto wanted it to end through cooperation, and that starts with him cooperating with Nagato to save everybody he had killed in the Leaf Village, rectifying the hatred that he discharged against them. Moving on to number 5, it's gonna be Tsunade's Talk No Jutsu. In the Search for Tsunade arc, when Jiraiya asked her to become the 5th Hokage, she first denied him, saying that the Hokage are stupid and everyone that becomes one is dumb. Obviously, this enrages Naruto, who respects the Hokage and wants to become one, and Tsunade says that, I mean, a couple of weeks after her sensei died, the 3rd Hokage, which is pretty mean, and but obviously it's because Tsunade was jaded with everything that had happened to her. The deaths of Dan and Awaki, 2 people she loved and that also wanted to become Hokage, just made her completely averse of the idea and no longer believing in the goodness of the world, so much so that she was willing to sacrifice people to bring them back via Orochimaru Zero Tensei. Now, I don't believe Jiraiya was supposed to be the sacrifice. She just drugged Jiraiya to keep him out of the confrontation, but she was gonna get people killed. Still, Naruto bets with her that he will master the Rasengan by the end of the week, and if he does, he gets the necklace that the 1st Hokage gave to her and all that. And then the necklace that Tsunade had passed on to Dan and Awaki, but they both had died, and so the necklace became kind of a curse. But Naruto was determined to say, no, it's not a curse, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and Tsunade obviously didn't believe because the Rasengan was an extremely difficult jutsu to master. And the problem for her is that she was beginning to see Dan and Awaki and Naruto, so this was beginning to change her. She chooses to side with the Leaf Village, confronting Kabuto and Orochimaru, and then, when things get ugly, she has to be saved by Naruto, and Kabuto is just trying to punch her and stuff. This little boy that really reminded her of Dan and Awaki saves her, and he lands a proper Rasengan on Kabuto. Naruto's first Rasengan is one of the best scenes in the entire series. It's very emotional, and the change that it ushers on Tsunade's character is amazing. She gets over her fear of blood, she becomes a Will of Fire shinobi again, and becomes the 5th Hokage, pledging to protect the village and their people. Number 4 is gonna be Zabuza. Now, this is the primordial Talk No Jutsu, the first time it happens in the series, and because of that, it was very impactful. Nobody was expecting the Zabuza guy, who was essentially devil incarnate, to cry in the end of the Tenchi Bridge arc and say that Naruto was right, he had feelings for Haku, he actually loved him like a son, he shouldn't have used Haku as a tool. It's one of the most emotional scenes in the entire series, because you're just not expecting that. It just catches you off guard, just like it caught Zabuza off guard in universe. This boy, out of nowhere, upon seeing Haku sacrificing himself to save Zabuza, delivers this speech that's just so moving, and it's so truthful to Zabuza, a truth that he never wanted to acknowledge, but he even says, stop, there's no need to speak, your words cut deeper than daggers. And it's very tragic because Zabuza only admits that to himself after Haku's already dead. What could have been if they had met Naruto before? Maybe Zabuza could have become Haku's father. Maybe Haku could have become one of Naruto's best friends. Haku even says it's a shame that we're enemies now. We could have been good friends before he goes and dies to Kakashi's Raikiri, saving Zabuza. And because that was in the first proper arc of the Naruto series, that's the ending of the story of that arc, it sets up the themes of the series. Shinobi are not tools. Shinobi are people. When you cast your humanity away, you will lose yourself. You will become something that you'll regret. So by grasping at your humanity, you will become a better person. You can make a change in this world. And that's what Naruto tries to bring forward in his enemies. Now, this Talk No Jutsu is also interesting because it wasn't something Naruto was planning to do. Most of these Talk No Jutsus, Naruto had something in mind. Okay, this guy, he's like that, so I'll just say this thing, for example, to bring him back to the good side. It's something he is actively fighting for. But this first one, it's just Naruto ranting on Zabuza for letting Haku be used as a tool and die even though Haku cared a lot for him. Naruto was just enraged for what Zabuza had done, and that actually moved Zabuza because he was the person who spoke the truth and a person whose words could change somebody else. Seeing Zabuza cry is very impactful, and then the rampage he goes after that is crazy. It's an extremely well executed scene. The way he kills Nagato is very satisfactory, and then the character's tragic end when Kakashi lays him beside Haku so that he can die in peace. Very nice scene. Classic, iconic. Number 3 is gonna be Gaara's Talk No Jutsu. I find his Talk No Jutsu more impactful than Zabuza just because I thought Gaara was more of an evil and disgusting character than Zabuza was. When I started watching Naruto 16 years ago or so, for me, Gaara was evil incarnate, and he was extremely powerful. Everybody hyped Gaara up, and for good reason. And because I watched Naruto so many times back in the day when I was young, this Gaara, evil Gaara, is my Gaara. He is the version of Gaara I think about whenever somebody says, oh, Gaara, that character. I think about evil Gaara, killing people with his sand, crushing them into a pulp. Most people will not. Most people think about Kazekage Gaara because that's the character he is for most of the series, but for me, that Gaara is just imprinted in my memory. And you would never guess that the guy who made ground beef out of anybody he encountered would be converted to the good side by the end of the Chunin exams. It's so interesting to see the parallels between him and Naruto. Both of them were Jinchuriki, they had demons sealed inside of them. And yes, Naruto was ostracized by his village, but he eventually found Iruka, Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, while Gaara found no one. His uncle tried to kill him. Yes, we find out later that the Kazekage told him to do so to provoke Gaara, and if he didn't do anything harsh, then the Kazekage may have treated Gaara a little bit better, but he went on a rampage after killing Ashimaru. Naturally, his father trying to kill Gaara every other week doesn't help his case very much, and he never had friends. So when Naruto, the first person to extend his hand to Gaara, arrives, it just kind of shocks him into this state of, what are you doing? I'm a monster, you shouldn't do that. Oh, and by the way, their fight's amazing. Naruto versus Gaara is a very underrated fight in the Naruto series. Both the Shadow Clone stuff and also the Kaiju stuff with Gamabunta are very good and well executed. Also, Naruto transforming Gamabunta into the Nine Tails, or like a fox that looks like the Nine Tails in the manga, is just pleasing to look at. And then when they're all very tired on the ground and Naruto can't even move, he tries to go towards Gaara using his chin. That's just a very heart-wrenching scene. I'm not gonna leave this guy alone. I know what that feels like. He's been lonely his entire life. I've been lonely a while too, but when I found friends, I understood the importance that they had. So if I leave this guy alone, I'm just being like the people who mistreated me in the past. Naruto's words managed to change this psycho into a very good person in the end of the day. Naruto once more reached out to Gaara's humanity that he could still see beneath that facet of killing and craziness, because he could see himself in Gaara. If things had gone a little bit differently, he would have been Gaara, man. That's just a very good fight and Talk No Jutsu in every single regard. Moving on to number 2, we have Sasuke. Naruto trying to bring back Sasuke to the Leaf Village is one of the main plot points in the entire series. I mean, after the time skip, obviously. Because Sasuke was Naruto's first friend, really. Even before they became teammates, they've already acknowledged each other. Even though they didn't say anything to each other and their ego got in the way of them actually becoming friends, they still felt each other's pains because Sasuke had lost his family and Naruto has always been alone, so they kind of understood each other from a perspective. And then when they become teammates, they develop this very strong bond. And then, when Sasuke leaves the village, Naruto obviously wants to bring him back because he knows what it's like to be alone. He doesn't want Sasuke to be alone anymore, and Sasuke is actively trying to destroy his bonds and relationships to become stronger so that he can destroy Itachi. Obviously, much more stuff happens. Sasuke wants to take revenge on the Leaf Village for destroying the Uchiha clan and making Itachi's life hell, and he's absolutely shrouded by darkness. But Naruto never gives up on him, even though Sakura and Kakashi had given up on him and were actually willing to kill Sasuke in the 5 Kage Summit arc. But no, Naruto was different. He never wanted to kill Sasuke. And then in the end of the series, when Sasuke starts his revolution and wants to tear down the shinobi system because that was the root of every single problem in the shinobi world, Naruto still wanted to bring him back. That was the path of darkness. Sasuke wanted to continue alone forever. He wanted to essentially converge the entire hatred of the world onto himself so that the planets would unite against him, and then they would achieve peace, but this would be a torturous path for Sasuke, and Naruto could not take that. No, he couldn't be alone. And then they have their final confrontation, when even after Sasuke and Naruto lost their arms, Naruto's still willing to bring Sasuke back because he was his friend. The final shot of that fight, when Naruto and Sasuke don't have arms anymore and their bloods mixed together, is one of the best shots in the entire series, with the fingers of Madara and Hashirama making the unison sign because they don't have their arms anymore. Is just an amazing piece of symbolism and a very satisfactory way to Talk No Jutsu Sasuke. Also, the fights in the Valley of the End are very good too, especially the first one. Moving on to number 1, Kurama, the nine-tailed fox. The Nine Tails had always been treated as the literal incarnation of malice and evil in the shinobi world. It was thought to be impossible to tame it, and to become friends with it, even more impossible. But even though the Nine Tails hated Naruto for most of their time together, Kurama began to warm up to him, especially after Naruto told Kurama that one day he would take her hatred away. And that was very different because every single person that had the Nine Tails before, Madara, Hashirama, Mito, Kushina, they all said, well, I'm gonna either use you for my own personal gain, or I'm just gonna contain you because you're too dangerous. Nobody saw Kurama as a creature, as a living thing, a sentient being, just the incarnation of evil. Now, maybe that reputation was warranted, but that didn't stop Naruto from trying to take away the hatred of the Nine Tails, and the build-up for that in the arc is amazing. You see Kurama slowly but surely beginning to be a little more amicable towards Naruto, giving him chakra when Madara uses his deep forest emergence so that Naruto can counter the jutsu with his Rasengan barrage, being a little bit more talkative, all leading up to when Naruto finally releases the cage and uses KCM2 in the Kurama avatar. When Naruto says that Kurama is a citizen of the Leaf Village, it's just amazing. And the subsequent fight against the tail beast that Obito was controlling is also great. It's just very cathartic to see that Naruto saving Kakashi and Guy from the tail beast bombs and then fighting against them for the first time, actually with the Nine Tails and not just using the Nine Tails, believing that there was good in the Nine Tails and that everybody deserves a chance. And meanwhile, the Nine Tails begins to trust Naruto more and believe that, yes, he is the person that will save us, just like Hagoromo told us all those years ago when we were babies. Pretty great stuff. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, like this video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and watch this other video right here for more cool Naruto content. Thank you so much for watching, guys.